Today, I'm going to talk about one of the most common family dynamics, the family that sweeps things under the rug. In our childhoods, we learn through our families and our earliest relationships how to work through conflict, how to have empathy for others, and how to communicate when we're upset or hurt. But what happens when we grow up in a family that's highly emotionally repressed and conflict is avoided? What happens is that we learn that when uncomfortable things happen, the way to deal with them is to sweep them under the rug or to pretend that they didn't happen at all. So here are some signs that you came from what I'm calling an under the rug family. One sign is when there was a fight or any type of conflict, people just went to their separate rooms and then they talked to each other the next day, a couple days later, like nothing happened at all. Say, for instance, your parents, maybe they would yell at each other and everyone would go to sleep. And the next day they would wake up and act like nothing had happened. This was probably a pattern. It kept happening because when we don't actually address things directly and work through them, they're going to continue happening. Another sign that you came from an under the rug family is you or your family ignored big elephants in the room. So maybe say your dad drank a lot and everyone just pretended that he wasn't drunk. Or maybe your mom spent almost all of her spare time in bed, yet no one brought it up. There could be so many things that happened. And ultimately, a lot of the time, when something was going on, even from a young age, you had this feeling that something was off or something was wrong. You might have had a feeling in your body, but everyone else just acted like things were normal. It can be really overwhelming for us, especially as kids, to know that something is off. And at the same time, to watch all of the adults around us be in a state of denial, ignoring that thing. You end up learning that the best way to deal with something is just like the adults did, to pretend that it just doesn't exist at all. Another sign of an under the rug family is maybe you don't remember any conflict at all. Conflict is actually a natural and normal part of every relationship. And when we understand how to work through conflict, it can actually bring us closer together to other people and build trust in the relationship. Under the rug families repress all of their feelings, and they can then be conflict avoidant. A lot of the times, this can look like things are good on the outside, but there's always a lot of pain and then resentment in these homes because everyone ends up ignoring their needs and their emotions most of the time. The final sign of an under the rug family is that you were told consistently to stop crying, or maybe to stop being so sensitive or stop being so dramatic. When highly sensitive children grow up in these homes and they go to their parents because they feel anxious or they need some support, their parents just can't cope. They don't know how to deal with their own emotions, let alone their child's. So if you resonate with these, as I know many of you do, as I know I do, I want you to understand these steps to begin a healing process. First step is begin a journaling practice. Journaling is a great way to start to understand what you're feeling. And of course, for a lot of you, it might feel awkward or uncomfortable to talk about your feelings because you never learned how to do that. And that's okay. You can start with journaling where you write out what you feel. Or maybe you write a letter to someone about how they impacted you that you never send. Using a pen and a paper will help you get comfortable expressing yourself. You'll feel more comfortable because this journaling, this writing is just for you. And at the same time, it'll help you build confidence when you make the choice to share how you feel with other people. The second step to heal from an under the rug family is I want you to begin to notice when you're being overly agreeable. Notice when you just go along with what someone else wants to do, or when you hide what you're really feeling. Notice when you try to avoid uncomfortable conversations. This will be a natural impulse for you. So just become aware of when and why you might be overly agreeable with other people. The third step to healing from an under the rug family is to practice being direct. Being direct is something that's still really hard for me. And that's to be expected, especially for those of you who never practice being direct. When we weren't taught how to express ourselves and everything was swept under the rug, being direct might feel like we're being rude or we're being bossy. And that's okay. As you're practicing, don't judge yourself. Just practice getting it out. When we're not direct, we put people in a situation where they have to try to read our minds. And that's not how we actually get our needs met or how we build the connection that we're seeking. I hope this helped some of you understand your family dynamics a bit better and understand the steps to healing these dynamics. And remember, this is a process. You're not automatically going to learn or be able to do these things comfortably unless you practice. And when you do practice, I promise you, you're going to feel so much more confident and connected in all of your relationships. I'd love to hear from you. Are you from an under the rug family? And if so, what is the thing that you struggle with the most? Leave it in the comments below.